We have Eric Weigel. Weigel? Weigel?
I like Weigel.
Let's go with Weigel. Playing
Weigel?
green-white. Very interesting deck. It's got a Thragtusk and Angelic Skirmisher. And then a lot of 1, 2, and 3 drop aggressive creatures. We got 4 Smiters, 4 Silverblade Paladins, 2 Center Healers, with the spell package of Forge Selesnya Charm, which I really like right now, and 4 Rancor. And what's Brian got?
Brian is playing the Nicotine Jones developed black, red, white Unburial Rights deck. If you've been following Moto, you've probably seen it picking up steam. I know about like a week and a half ago, it had a bunch of results in a couple daily events, a lot of 4-0s.
Yeah, it really showcased at the Monks, right? The standard Monks about a month ago. I was trying to play a brew in that one too. Did not work out that well for me. All right, Temple Garden drops Eric down to 18, and I think we're going to see a Mad Acceleration creature.
Maybe we'll see a Dryad Militant.
Ooh, we could see a Dryad Militant.
You're right. It is Avacyn's Pilgrim.
I mean, when you see a Sacred Foundry, I don't think you're that worried about reanimation spells.
That's true. Amusingly enough, though, that's exactly what he should be concerned with in this matchup. That's a Searing Spear, the F&M promo, I believe.
For a second, it looked like Punishing Fire, and I'm like, what's going on?
My world, it's coming down around me. That would be excellent against his 1 Nearheath Pilgrim.
Yeah, all right. So we have backup Pilgrims just in case one got lost.
Yep.
And
Brian's hand looks pretty land heavy here, but he does have a Faithless Looting now too.
What does that card do to land heavy draws?
Huh?
What does that card do?
It changes them.
It changes.
I don't know if you know Brainstorm. That's a pretty good magic card. Let's turn some cards into others.
See, I never know. I always fetch wrong.
Well, that's the tricky part.
I just get to know what my next 2 cards are going to be. All right, he gets rid of a couple lands. Faithless Looting, setting up a Liliana for next turn, or a Falconwrath Aristocrat, whichever one he decides. I think that's a Vault, or is that a Lingering Souls?
He has a Vault in his hand, I believe.
Okay, because that was a Lingering Souls. I do not think that's in the correct zone.
Yeah, that's true. He could have gotten a lot of value discarding it to Faithless Looting. One of the things I like about Brian Hardie's list is, this is one of the decks in the format that makes use of Rakdos Gear, and a card we saw a lot early on in Standard, and it's kind of like just disappeared.
Yeah, it was very scary for a long time. And all right, yeah, the entire triplet Avacyn Pilgrim Draw I do not think is exactly what Eric's deck's trying to accomplish, because he does have a bunch of 3-drops all the way up to Silverheart's, Thragtusk, Angel, Restoration Angel, Sigardas. I just love this in 1 Angelic Skirmisher.
We drew a second Vault, which is definitely not ideal. Now, it turns out you were right. That Vault wasn't in the wrong zone anyway. He's sending in the Falconwrath Aristocrat, going to get Eric down to 14, start a little clock. One that Thragtusk is ill-suited to racing. Now
we should definitely see something happen. We have 6 mana.
Lockstone Smiter, Sigarda, and a Restoration Angel. Our last turn was interesting.
Yeah.
I feel like almost any of those creatures would have been a lot more interesting to deploy.
And we could also have played a Silverblade Paladin as well.
Now we've got some decisions, mostly over whether, we play the Shockland untapped to get in a damage, which seems ill-conceived against a Falconwrath. We put it into play tapped and play.
Well, I think we want to. We can deal with damage.
We can. It is available.
Yes. All right. So Brian untaps, can threaten a trade. That Liliana looks pretty bad right now, especially with the threat of a Smiter. We're not going to be able to sacrifice because of the Sigarda ability of spells and abilities your opponent's control cannot cause you to sacrifice permanents. But he's willing to trade a Sigarda for a Falconwrath and his entire turn.
He's probably just going to be stuck on Faithless Looting this turn, I imagine.
Well, if Eric does take it, I feel like I want to Time Walk my opponent. You don't?
You would block with the Sigarda here?
I don't know. I mean, we get rid of the Aristocrat. We force his entire turn.
Well, we can animate the Key Rune and sack it.
But that won't kill the Sigarda.
Sure, that's fair.
So then we just brickwalled him and he lost a Key Rune.
I don't disagree with that assessment.
All right.
Eric clearly just sensing something's up here. Perhaps he fears a Bonfire for 1. However, if Brian had a Bonfire for 1, I think he would have played it ages ago. So.
So we just saw him Bearer Rights discarding
Faithless Looting discarding a Barrier Rights and a Lingering Souls, which he will make now.
And now we're in trouble.
Well, Sigarda's obviously not going to be able to race that Falconwrath Aristocrat very well, so it's probably going to have to go in defense, and Vault of the Archangel will make that a pretty ill-suited
especially now that there's creatures in play. I liked forcing that play because there weren't any creatures to do anything with.
Sure.
Because Aristocrat is a very difficult card to deal with.
Do you think it's possible Brian should maybe have Faithful Saluting before combat, just to...
No, because then he can't attack.
I know that he maybe can't attack, but, I mean, we don't know his list, actually. We should look at that.
All I can say is the
checking.
players made decisions, and none of them would have been mine.
That's fair.
And I'm not saying that they were correct or not. I'm just saying that, like, I wouldn't want to waste my turn with that Aristocrat when I have Lingering Souls in my deck and I have Faithless in my graveyard. And I would have snapped out that trade.
I agree. If I'm Eric, I would be blocking there. I think that if I'm Brian, I wouldn't have attacked, though, so it's kind of interesting, just that we're in the position. It looks like he's going to try for Silverblade Paladin and hope to chop his way through Lingering Souls, but Mania Mage has tried that.
I saw him tapping 1 mana. I thought that was all he's going to do, and then we would have had a Rancor. All right, Smiter comes down. Should have saved it. He should know that Brian has a Liliana in his hand.
Psychic powers not online.
All right, so all Brian has to do is if he attacks and any blocks happen, he can give his team Death Touch and Indestructibility, which will allow him to kill the first striking 5/5.
Yep, if he just sends the Aristocrat.
Yeah.
Rancor is definitely one of the cards that Brian just has to concern himself with here.
Yeah.
It's the only thing that can really break through his Wall of Spirits, and with the Vault to gain him life as he attacks, probably not too worried.
Well, that casting of Locks on Smiter felt foolish.
I'm not sure what we're planning to do with a Liliana here, to be honest.
We're going up.
We're going up, but like, I feel like our attack was just much more productive.
The 4th Pilgrim in the yard.
4th Pilgrim served his master well.
All right, so it just says go.
At a minimum, you could make the attack first, because it's relatively risk-free.
All right, so Eric draws, hoping for some powerful spell. I would take an Angelic Skirmisher. That would be a sweet board position.
Angelic Skirmisher would do a lot of work
Rancor
here.
also would probably be game.
Rancor's a little more conventional, and because we just missed that attack, I think it's enough to race.
Now, I definitely like this attack from Eric. He does have the Restoration Angel. He knows he can get aggressive. One creature gets through. Woo.
I approve. Do you think your opponent wants to trade spirits for pilgrims here? Like,
not really, no.
Not against a double striking Cigar. I think sending everything's totally fine here.
I like this attack.
Yep, Brian, let up the pressure for a turn, and that's given Eric a chance to try and reverse the momentum of the game.
All right, so we're going to get there and block there, and we're going to take 2. This is going to give him... Okay, yeah, so everything's going at Liliana except for the Paladin. So
Paladin's
now,
going at Brian? Okay.
Restoration's going to blink that out, probably continue to pair with the Sigarda. They seem like
good
best
friends. Yeah.
I don't think they want to change relations.
It's interesting that he attacked the Liliana.
Well, you don't want that thing, taking that last card in Eric's hand. He does have another Silver Blade, or it's going to take it anyway.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, he could never really get rid of it.
Faithless just to mill over 2 cards. Ooh, a Lingering Souls.
Yeah, Lingering Souls and a Searing Spirit, the other card that we discarded.
Now, what does Searing Spirit's flashback cost?
It doesn't have one.
It does not have it.
Unless the past has become particularly aflame.
Oh.
Yeah.
I've seen that a couple times.
Really?
The past become aflamed?
Oh, I thought you meant past in flames with Searing Spear. Because that would be a neat one. I mean, I know that you've been known to brew pretty deep, but...
Not mostly with guys. I'm not the spell kind of brewer.
Brian appears to be in the tank. He actually tapped pretty awkwardly here with the Dragon Skull Summit over every other land that produces red.
Alright.
Can no longer use his Rakdos Key Rune on defense, which it's particularly well suited to dealing with Silverblade Paladin should that guy decide to take a trip over again.
Well, I mean, I can see that, but I also think the Vault is going to be important potentially.
Sure, but you can keep open both. It's a free roll.
Yeah, he definitely is just trying to find, and that's another problem with this deck is like a lot of the creatures that you have for the value rights aren't actually that good to bring back.
Yeah.
They're not the high hitters. It's not. I mean, obviously, Brian did not think he was going to see a Sigarda. Even though Sigarda is such a powerful card, no one ever thinks they're going to play against it.
It's true. I think Brian was really hoping to hit an Aurelia or an Obstat with that Faithless loading, but that's actually pretty tough to do. He also has access to like 1 Angel of Serenity and 1 Olivia Voldaren, both of which would be pretty high impact. Gavany Township for Eric it's a big game. That'll make everything much harder for Brian. The board is rapidly degenerating to this point where he's just not going to be able to come back, barring his Singleton Blasphemous Act.
Alright, so... Yeah, now we're going to chump block the Restoration Angel, take down one of these Pilgrims. We're going to protect the Aristocrat and gain life, so he will end up only taking 3 damage depending on if Eric activates Township, which I think he should since he's Hellbent.
Yeah.
So which means he has no cards in his hand. So you've been walking around a lot while they do this combat. What's been the sweetest deck you've seen so far today?
The sweetest deck?
Because I think I know what I'm playing for the Invitational, but I wouldn't mind something spicy and seeing something this weekend, since it's the last weekend before the SCG Open in Atlanta featuring the Invitational.
My favorite deck of the weekend was actually the deck we featured round 1, Lewis Laskin's.
Lewis is
Nightshade Peddler, Is It Staticaster, Boros Reckoner, Ground Assault Blastoise.
And he's still
deck.
alive, right?
No, he just lost. That put him to 2 losses and out of top 8 contention, and rather than play it out for any money, decided he wanted to take that last round and go sleep. Big time.
Sleep?
Yeah, he dropped and went to the room. He's tired, had a long day, didn't get much rest. Wants
Can't
to come back
all be a
fresh for
baller,
tomorrow.
man.
I know.
I grind it out.
He will be back tomorrow. I've actually asked him to come in early so we can get the deck tech because
cool.
I didn't want to have to hold him.
Oh, and that's true. We don't have to worry about legs tomorrow because it is a double standard. He gets another crack at it with the deck.
That's right. Yep, gets another shot. He loved playing the deck. He's very excited about getting to try it again.
Right,
Wants to play some more ground assaults.
Did he keep a card in his hand or did he play a land?
I believe he kept a card. He had, I think, all those lands in play before. Yeah, he had all the lands in play already.
Oh, is the Faithful Student still in the graveyard? He just drew a new one?
Yeah, I think he's flashbacking, and now he's saying, like, I'm flashbacking this one, but
I
there was confusion
showed the
because,
one
yeah.
Well, that's an Olivia.
Isn't Olivia? It might be too late,
We have definitely seen many Olivias this weekend, just too slow, too late.
Yeah.
And I think that's where this format's going. The card just is not doing what it's supposed to be doing anymore. Which could be a very good card at the Invitational, I think, since it's going to be more mid-range. But it still has an uphill battle to deal with in the format.
Sure.
Just too fast. Olivia's just trying to touch and turn everything into vampires, and the format's just way too fast. Can't keep her hands on anything.
It looks like he's deciding what to keep here. I imagine he's locked in on pitching the Faithless Looting. No? Oh, he's going to go deep.
Well, I don't know what that Faithless Looting allows him to do. He has to find another Lingering Souls and try to find something to embarrass. It's like that Olivia's not going to win him the game.
I guess it makes sense to bin it if you're not going to cast the Olivia. He is at 23, so like he can take a pretty big hit, but...
Now, if you're in his position, do you just, like, loot now so then next turn you can flashback if you drew, and then unbarrel rights?
Yeah, we just flashback Lingering Souls and then looted. We should definitely have done that in the opposite order. It's just free information.
No, I mean, it's not. It's not like you're going to do anything else with that 3 mana.
I mean, you could potentially threaten to keep your... I guess you couldn't keep your Keyring up because you have a vault.
Nope.
Yeah. Well, if we had tapped differently for our flashback Faithless Looting, it could have mattered. Brian's, I think, being a little casual with his mana here in a game where he's actually tight on black, which could very easily wind up costing him in a specific spot. I don't think we've hit one of those spots, but we have denied ourselves a few small opportunities.
You and your small edges, Glenn Jones.
I can't help it, man. I'm always really focused on tapping my lands. I feel like an idiot whenever I get it wrong.
I agree. Right nowadays.
You agree? I feel like.
No, I definitely agree on, like, there's some plays sometimes where I play around things and my opponent's like, well, I couldn't have had that or it couldn't happen. I'm like, yeah, but like this is just the optimal play.
Right.
And I just get used to making the optimal plays. Now, yeah, you better send that Sigarda. You better send your whole team, buddy.
He's still wary. The only card that I can think of that would kill him is like peeling, if he attacks with Sigarda, is like peeling an Aurelia, right? Like,
no. That wouldn't be enough.
Yeah.
He's at 10 now.
Yeah,
I was thinking of 23.
Yeah, he could get him. And a peeled Aurelia is 14 points, even if he loses all of these spirits chump blocking this turn. So Brian's got what we colloquially refer to as outs.
Yes, there are some outs. All right, so I think Sigarda's half attacking. He hasn't decided yet. We're going to see how blocks go first before we decide.
Well, that version of Sigarda sounds way better. Ghost Cloak Sigarda.
Yeah. All right, so blocking everything, eating the Avacyn's Pilgrim.
Yeah, eats another Pilgrim. Looks like we're declining to Township.
No need.
Which,
it's
we're not
gonna
getting
have
through any damage, so... Do we have an actual spell that we're going to cast instead?
Spell. Healer.
Oh, 14 still good enough, so...
yeah.
Good thing we held back that Sigarda.
All right, let's hope. I want to see a big top deck.
I want to see a Faithless Looting. Sweat it again.
All right, let's see a Faithless. We have an Umbrella Rights in the graveyard still for Brian, so we could potentially still see some big, scary monster hit the board.
Yep.
That was an Aurelia.
So note that Eric's play, conservative though it was, has kept him alive.
Yes.
Against Brian's draw.
But it's still too little too late. Aurelia on D is not going to get there.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it's going to be enough. We'll have to see, I guess. I don't think he can... Yeah, if he plays the Aurelia, he won't be able to survive an all-out attack, so he's going to just play this Boros Reckoner and basically just try and wash, rinse, repeat his last turn, but with Boros Reckoner instead of Lingering Souls.
Yeah.
Eric played really conservatively last turn, so we have no reason to believe that he'll, get crazy now.
Yeah. All right, so Eric top decks. I'm still waiting for that Rancor.
Yeah, Rancor would change everything in this game. It would pretty much just immediately win.
So did we activate? Did he forget to Township?
Well, he cast Centaur Healer instead.
Oh, excuse me. Yes.
So
I'm a little slow. I'm slow because of that burger.
Whoops, we've revealed our draw of Sunpel Grove and
played
it during combat. Yeah, it's cool. So now we send just our flyers. Wow, this is exactly what right now isn't Eric just dead? Yeah, you just put Falcon Wrath Aristocrat in front of that Sigarda, throw the Boros Reckoner away to keep it around, untap.
Just take the... Oh yeah, we have to because it's a... Yeah, wow.
Eric suddenly just switched into, I no longer have a flying blocker, I'm just going to go for it, and Brian has actually just gotten the win. If he sees it.
All right.
he appears to be very concerned about this, but his opponent's hellbent, so he has no
He's
flyers
just
to play.
making sure.
I could understand being a little weirded out, So you can't possibly kill me. It's physically impossible, and I can kill you.
Just he just did the hand gestures, all right,
yeah, just take it. All right, it's cool. Well, I take 11. I go to 12.
No,
right?
He takes way more. It's Silverblade.
Oh, sorry. Yep.
Takes 16.
I forgot the soul bond on Sigarda, so he goes to 4, and he has just straight up lethal. Assuming he sees it, that's all he needs.
I mean, I'm pretty sure he sees it.
He just drew the Blasphemous Act too, I think, so he could actually have gotten out anyway. But
multiple different ways.
I mean, he could, if that is the Blasphemous Act he drew, he could just kill his opponent with that too.
All right, that's game over. I think Eric realized it right away.
Yeah. Yep, it is the Blasphemous Act. He's like, yep, still had all these.
Oh, he didn't cast it, but still showed it.
Yeah.
I would have hit that one. All right, so with sideboarding, what is Brian going to be doing? Because that's the more green, white, aggro we've seen before, but black, white, red for a lot of you at home, you might not know this deck. So what do you think he's doing out of a sideboard?
We have, from this sideboard, it's kind of an interesting one. I'm not that experienced with this deck, so I don't know exactly what's going to go on. I think for sure the second Blasphemous Act is coming in. The Tragic Slip seems like a no-brainer as well. Mizia Mortars.
It's weird that he hasn't, but the Knight of Infamy also seems good.
I very much agree. That was the one I was going to go to next. I think Knight of Infamy definitely comes in.
Brian
it's a great answer to
two
Smite.
random Knight of Infamies, probably for the Blitz matchups. Just having... Well, I'm curious why they're Knight of Infamies and not just... what's that card called? Bloom Surgeons.
Yeah. I know people are liking those.
Yep.
Not sure, honestly,
Because the red removal deals with both of them, but that card still hits the Burning Tremissary. So that's an unusual one in my mind. I like the 2 Nearheath Pilgrims to go with the Reckoners or the Aristocrats or things like that. But I think all these cards have the potential of being good in this matchup. Over on Eric's side with the green-white deck, the only things I can think of that he's going to do is he could potentially bring in Face Shield for some weird, unique blowouts. But I think the Acidic Slimes are going to be big. Hopefully he brings those in. They're very good. The Thragtusks are not that spectacular in this matchup.
No.
It's a good time to have Wolfers,
flyers.
Silverhearts, and Sigardas.
Yeah. All the flying creatures mean that Brian can just race a Thragtusk, whereas something that actually affects the board more positively, like Sigarda and Wolfir Silverheart, those are really tough. I think I would bring in some quantity of Faith Shield. I don't know about all 3.
Dude, you got to give protection.
I would want 1 or 2. I mean, we've seen it, be useful in multiple ways. Like in that game, forcing through a SCGORL, like past Lingering Souls, could have definitely mattered at one stage, something like that. So I would want access to it, just because my deck doesn't have enough tricks. I want to add some.
Yeah.
And Acidic Slime, I agree with you that it seems pretty strong, mostly as a way to take my opponent off a Vault of the Archangel, which is a really powerful way to race things like Wolfir Silverheart.
Definitely agree with that. It's very unusual. Like, all of Brian's creatures are technically fatties, but only a few of them can hit by the Selesnya Charm, so I'm curious if Eric's going to keep all those in.
Yeah, I feel like I wouldn't want to keep in all of them. I think that's what I would cut for the Faith Shields, because they can both serve that pseudo-protective role against some spells, but Faith Shield obviously protects you from far more things. So that's where I would go with that.
Yep. All right, and I just want to get Angelic Skirmisher online. That is just something I want to see. I got to play with that last week in Pittsburgh at the GP, and excuse me, and that was just an unbelievably amazing card. In a limited environment. I'm curious what it's like in Standard. But I do have to say, First Strike blockers, Vigilance into First Strike is very powerful.
Very true, very true. Man, that game was...
It was very unusual,
yeah. It was really strange that Eric, suddenly changed gears. I think he's, regretting it now, and his demeanor, you can kind of see, he's like, why did I just change my mind? I knew I needed that flying blocker.
Especially when all of his ground pounders were still just very powerful creatures.
Yep. Yeah, even an all-out attack on that turn might have, I don't know, I'd have to go back and do some math to figure it out, but an all-out attack possibly could have forced Brian to put himself in a much more awkward position. It feels like
he just blocks 1 and then
he blocks 1 and sacks, but I don't know if he's still taking lethal.
There's no way. He was at 23 life and he's taking roughly 5 a creature, 6 a creature.
Yep, that's fair. No, I think you're right. There were only 5 guys, so it makes sense.
So
it would have been functionally identical, I guess.
As these players shuffle up, how excited are you for next week at the Invitational?
I'm reasonably excited,
there's Ascension tournaments. Aren't you a big Ascension fan?
Well, yeah, but I'm not going to be playing in them.
You can sneak away. You need to be,
Oh, man,
the Immortal tournaments, you get immortalized.
There was a time and a place when I wanted my vanity card, and I didn't get it for so long. So now, I'm jaded to it.
You jaded to it?
I'm jaded to the concept. Although, if you are, a game designer and want to make a card of me, I would totally think that that's cool. So I guess I'm not that jaded to it.
Oh wow! I see what you just did there. If you're a game designer, any of you out there. Who are you trying to?
Yeah.
Is P. Sully? No, he's PTQing.
Yeah, P. Sully is in a PTQ, a large one.
We might have Kibler. We might have Kibler.
At the Costa Mesa Women's Center, I believe, is.
That's where the PTQ is.
That is where his PTQ is. Yeah.
Interesting.
Fortunately, spacious enough for most of the players who showed up.
Yeah. All right, so now we've got our hands. Let's hope Eric does more than play 3 Absence Pilgrims on consecutive turns.
Yeah, that would be significantly better. Although, to be fair, it was realistically likely enough to win that previous game if we played slightly differently.
All right, both players are going down, but that's what Brian wants. Green-white decks would mulligan much worse than the ones with Faithful City and Barrel, right?
Yeah, that's true. Brian certainly won't mind his opponent coming out with a slower start.
And Brian is the reactive player in this matchup. The time he's given is dependent on the green-white aggro, and because of that, if green-white's mulliganing, he gets more time to set things up. All right. But yeah, I mean, I played Ascension a little bit, but it's so cool that there's just going to be a whole nother crowd at the Invitational. I want to meet those guys that actually just come for the Ascension tournament. And, it's a scratch your back kind of place. You can learn Ascension if you're a Magic player, you can learn Magic if you're an Ascension player. Everyone's just there to game and have a good time. The Atlanta Convention Center that we go to is awesome. I love it. Like Cedric said, there's a Chick-fil-A right across the street.
Yeah, I know, personally, I'm pretty excited to help out the game. Ascension's a sweet game. Stoneblade Entertainment, a company full of sweet people. We've obviously at Starseed been, allied with them over a number of things like advertising campaigns. You see their sites. Kibler, one of the designers for Stoneblade, writes for our site, of course.
Oh,
yeah. If you enjoy fine gaming and complex strategy, you're probably going to enjoy some of the Stoneblade Entertainment games. Soulforge being their new product.
That game confuses me.
Out.
Their AI is good.
Is it?
Well, it's better than me.
All right, I might give you that. Their AI is an impressive AI. I'll be honest, like
Yeah.
you know, I don't consider it like especially challenging or worrisome,
Well,
but
AI usually is like not
usually
existent.
you just crush them. But it is of a class that most games in its in the same industry do not match. So I actively enjoy playing against the AI. It's not something I just do because like I don't have anything better to do.
Yeah.
If I'm like sitting there, I'll just decide I want to play against the AI. I don't know if you know anything about the Soulforge update. They actually have added their starter decks now to the game and redone and updated it so you can play with more of those cards.
If I win a Soulforge tournament, do I get my likeness on it?
Not yet. I'm sure that will be an option in the future, to be totally honest.
Well, I hope it will.
Seems likely.
Yeah.
Seems like the kind of thing the guys at Stoneblade like offering.
And then that's true. I mean, everyone talking about I want to be on a token. All these people. Well, actually, at the Invitational this weekend, the winner will also be on a token. That's true.
Yeah.
Do you like my token? Yeah. Do you like the Brad Nelson token or the Jerry Thompson? Well, you can also be on a token if you win the Invitational. IQs all over the place. Even at the Open, whoever top eights the tournament gets qualified. So anyone from here can go to Atlanta, which is very close, and play next weekend. And these players might just be doing that. Might be trying to get their qualification to go to Atlanta next weekend and do battle. And it's loose competition. It's like I'm there and.
Yeah, I mean Brad Nelson, an Open Series tournament. Steep competition.
You've never had an easier match. Like, you could actually probably do worse playing the bye. Some pit will grow for Eric on his mull to 5. It's going to be a rough start for him. Is that a white primordial?
Huh?
What was that card in Brian's hand?
It's near Heath Poker.
Oh.
He started on Godless Shrine. It looks like he's lacking on red mana, but he has a Rakdos Key Rune to fix that problem. So, yeah, easy game. I think I see an Obzet there, so Brian looks like he's going to be coming out of the gates pretty quickly. He's got the potential to.
And all Eric's doing is slowly setting things up. And now this is a matchup where you do not want Rest in Peace. I think Eric brought it in, but that's one of the big advantages of Black or Red is it's such a misunderstood deck.
Yeah.
And your spells you're reanimating are not 7 or 8 mana. They're 5, 4, and 6. 4, 5, and 6. So he did miss a line drive. He's going to kill that Pilgrim, but. You don't need a graveyard to function.
True. Near Heath Pilgrim, we got the beats. Both players a little stunted here in this game. Brian's on 6 cards, Eric's on 5.
With double Rest in Peace.
Eric's on 3.
Yeah, pretty rough.
Yeah, Rest in Peace is a complete blank against Brian currently. None of the cards in his hand are
We hit
affected by
mana,
it.
we hit Reckoner, and this is looking really bad for Eric.
Pair. Walking Lightning Helix.
Yeah, depressing 2-0. I don't really know how he can get out of this. If he draws a land, he doesn't do anything. If he draws a creature, it's too weak to deal with his board position.
Yeah. It would require a significant series of running draws and...
Starting with a Terminus.
Yeah.
Alright.
Looks like Brian, still not developing as fast as he could, but he has a Rakdos Key Rune.
Yep.
And, he really doesn't have to do much. Eric will be dead in short order.
Yeah. And we're building mana to, like, every land / creature is ticking up to that Blasphemous Act.
Yep.
Something we've seen quite a few times already. This will be the 3rd time it was potential. Alright. Eric's like, I too can play this life gain stuff. But here, if we see a land, we see an Amzadat. Yes, there's a land, there's an Amzadat.
Yep. I think I was about to say our life was a little off, but Brian's is not really relevant in this game as it's going to be over in his favor pretty quickly. Yeah, I can't
would not
imagine
play it
there's
first.
something-
I think I attack with the Reckoner.
Yeah, he probably can't block, I guess. I don't know. He also has an Aristocrat. He can play that and still retain the ability to gain first strike. It looks like that's the play he's going to go for, which I think that's a totally fine line as well. It's like,
Nope. Amzadat.
everything points to the win on Brian's side here. It's hard to... I'm not sure what's the exactly correct play, but...
I like attack first.
I do too.
I really feel like there should just be a rule change because of Amzadat that you can just put it on top of your library.
Yeah.
Like, diagonally.
That's interesting.
Like how I did it at the GP, no one argued with me, is I put a dice on my library, but then I leaned it on my library.
Okay.
I just leaned the Amzadat up against my deck. I mean, I obviously never want to miss that.
Yeah, I
Look
mean,
at how good it
huge
is.
to
It's
miss
every turn.
It's especially spicy with Rock's
we're
fake
counting.
under.
We're counting. We are exactly.
We're doing it the cool way. How blasphemous! I think it was a pretty good matchup for Brian in general. Although, like we saw in Game 1, it seemed like Game 1 should have gone Eric's way, but post-board it gets very tough for him.
I mean, it does seem like a good matchup, but that changes when you just play a turn 2 Smiter. That all changes, right? Mulligan to 5. I don't know if the Cyberman was correct, but like turn 2 Smiter is very powerful.